The last step before your breakthrough. The last step before the supernatural promotion. The last step before your victory that you're standing for. There will be backbiting. There will be slander. And there will be false accusations. When that occurs, get ready. Get ready, because that is your big blessings hitting your door. Because
it's the same thing that happened to Yahweh
before he was crucified. You want to get up here and say something about that, sir?
What I was going to say is that that's exactly...
He can't hear you. Say it.
I said that's exactly the same thing that happened to Yahweh when he was crucified. They backbid. Those that believed in him...
They slandered him.
They slandered him. They rejected him. They moved away from him. They lost faith in him. They looked at what man judged him, not God judged him. They were tools of Satan.
And it's the same tools that they used against God as they'll use against you. It's the same emotions. It's the same... Quit being concerned. Look at. This is not arrogance. This is confidence. Quit being concerned about, and I don't say this with disrespect. I'm always because people see who you are before they hear who you are. But quit being concerned about others' approval for your calling and your purpose.
Hallelujah.
It's not their calling and purpose. You don't need their approval.
Hallelujah.
He called you to do it. He's going to get you to the top. If you don't quit, either does he. He says, count it all joy when you fall into different trials and tribulations. But then he said what? Be of what? Be of good cheer, because he overcome them. Well, watch this. If he overcame them and he lives in you, what does that make you? An overcomer. You got to know who the enemy is, how he works. See, to know what God is, you got to know what he isn't. And now you'll know exactly what the enemy is, so we don't even have to talk about the enemy. Some people are goofy. You take animals like, okay, if the bull realized that the red cape was not his enemy, the bullfighter would be in big trouble. But the bull thinks the red cape is his enemy. And as long as you think that people are your enemy, God is part of your problem, you will never have the victory that you want in life. When you realize and recognize who the enemy is and how he works, you can pull his plug easy. God is never, ever, ever involved in anything when it comes to victory or failure. He's only involved in one, that's the victory. He doesn't care about failure because there's no failures with God. Earthquakes are not from God. People say earthquakes are from God. They're not. What is an earthquake on? A fault line. There's no faults in God. But because of man's fall, he birthed sin into the earth. And the wages, the paycheck of sin was destruction and death. That's the paycheck of it. That's the paycheck. How many people are being slandered right now? Okay. Your blessings are at the door. When the Bible says, count it all joy, that means count it all joy. If you don't give up, either does God. God wants you to focus on what you're going to and not what you're going through. He wants you to start where you want to be, not where you're at. He's not concerned about the crowd at the beginning of the race, because the crowd at the beginning of the race is a different crowd at the finish line. So you just be concerned about that finish line. Because remember I always say the two biggest tragedies that you're ever going to face is one, leave the earth without knowing where you're going. That's stupid. That's like a goose in a fog. You don't even leave your house without knowing where you're going. I know where I'm going. Christ lives in me. I'm going directly to the heaven of heavens in my mansion. And the second tragedy is leave the earth without fulfilling your heart's desire, your vision, your calling, or your purpose in life. That means you just existed. God's too old now. You ain't too old. That's the way you think. You got to quit that stinking thinking. The Bible says you think in your heart, that's the way it's going to be. So whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Don't blame God. Because he thinks that you're an all things are possible person. Because that's how come he said that. He wants every day of your life for the rest of your life to be the best of your life. How many know what the will of God is? Is there any spirit-filled Christians here? You know what the will of God is? The will of God in Luke 11:49 says it's his word. Now, do you know what God's will is for this word on this earth? God's will is this. He is going to perform his word on this earth through his children. He says it's his will that none of you perish, but live in divine health and be prosperous. Do you know that God is a God of increase, multiplication, and addition? Satan is the father of lies, subtraction, and division. In what area of division? Through people. How are you going to divide yourself from somebody? How you look at them, your thoughts. Your own insecurities will divide you of somebody.
This message has been brought to you by Winning at the Race of Life. To invite Hollywood stuntman, speaker, and author Sammy Maloof to your organization, please call 626-292-2258. Visit winningattheraceoflife.com and join us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.